I feel like that's like the perfect like start of it is with him.
Yeah. Are you comfy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Hi guys, welcome. We are doing a little haircut. I get so many questions about my hair. This is Beau. His energy is everything. So if you guys have any like Q&As about how to get my hair cut, just personal, anything, we are here to chat. Yeah, this is really cool. He came to my house, so it's like super personable. And I just love Beau's energy. So it's like I get to be able to be with him on a different level, which is really fun. It is currently, oh my god, it's currently 222. Oh, this is good. So if you guys do have any questions, make sure to put them in the question box so when it comes up, it pops up. Gabby says hi. Do you know who Gabby is?
Oh yeah. Hola.
So you have, okay, so who else are you thinking of coming in?
So one of the ones I'm really excited about will be my best friend.
Okay.
We've known each other since we were 7.
Yeah.
We grew up in a small, tiny little town in South Texas, and now we both own businesses on the same street.
Wait, that's cool.
We see each other weekly still, so
yeah.
I think that'll be a fun conversation.
That will. So are you going to have him be like in your chair, or like what's like the setup?
Yeah, it should be kind of exactly like this. Obviously, I'll curate the conversation a little bit so that the audience gets to know who that person is.
Yeah.
Versus just like a conversation between us.
Okay, that makes sense.
So it's more inclusive to the people watching.
Yeah. So it's really cool if you guys are interested in just learning about amazing inspirational stories. Beau is actually the owner. I will let you introduce. Will you introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. My name is Beau Bollinger, and I'm a hairdresser here in Dallas, and I own a shop called Hair Story Studio on Henderson Avenue. Been doing hair for, I'm gonna age myself now, 20 years now.
I love that. So he is an amazing teacher too. He not only teaches people, but he inspires people. And he's going to start doing a series is it on your page or the Hair Story page?
It'll be on my page.
On his page, so you guys should definitely follow him. His @name's on the top. But he's going to bring in inspiring people and have conversations with them in the chair, which I kind of love. So when I was in high school, I actually wanted to be a hairstylist.
No way.
I did. The main reason why I didn't actually go into hairstyling is because of the math. I didn't have the confidence to do like the fractions and things like that.
Oh, with all the color and
yes,
everything?
Yes.
Because there's no math in the cut. Maybe a little geometry, but
okay,
no
maybe
math
that.
in the
Yeah. So I decided to not go, and one of the main reasons why I wanted to go is because it's like therapy. Like you truly get to be so intimate with the person you're with, and I feel like it's a special moment to be able to not only transform what someone looks like, but feels like, and then hear their story.
Yeah, I mean, throughout the life of a career, you know, I kind of look at like, if you're starting in this industry, you know, the first motivations behind your work are going to be like monetary and educational. So it's like, how much money am I going to make? What am I going to learn?
Yeah.
And then as you find a rhythm in that, then it becomes a little bit more about creative expression. And then as that kind of, you find a rhythm with that, you start to seek like what the bigger purpose behind like kind of what you're doing is. And I've found that is the relationships that I have and the conversations I have with my clients is really kind of what makes it so special.
Yeah, I love that. So what is one of the biggest things you've learned about yourself talking with people?
I think the biggest learning, especially over the past couple years, is the need for empathy, because you know, I think like in the past couple years, we've had what is obviously a universal experience, but the individual interpretation of that universal experience is so very different.
Yeah.
And you know, getting to see 8 or 10 different people a day for the past couple years really gives perspective of how different that can be for so many people.
Oh my gosh.
And so to be empathetic of, you know, what one might be going through or what their life might look like right now, I think is really important.
That's so crazy. And I think also not inserting how your time has been these last 2 years into their story.
Yes.
Because like you
That's
said,
easy
there
to
is. Yeah, because you're like, oh, COVID, yeah, it's been so crazy. And it's like you're missing like a core aspect of how this has truly impacted them.
Right.
That is insane. I love that. Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. So what is one of the biggest challenges you've had to overcome?
Well, I mean, specifically the past 2 years, the biggest challenges are leading a team. You know, leadership takes on, I think my younger self probably thought leadership meant that, you know, you were in charge.
Yeah.
But leadership is really more about helping, you know, empower the people that are around you. And it also includes the fact that you're gonna have to make decisions that not everybody's gonna like.
Yeah.
Which is tough, because I'm definitely, you know, a people pleaser. I like to people please, you know, my clients and my staff. So when you get into arenas where you have to make decisions that you know not everybody's gonna love, it can be tough.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever lost someone because of a decision you've made on your team?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
How do you overcome that type of rejection?
Well, I think that, you know, in my industry there ends up being a lot of like ego that comes in people leaving, and I just, you know, I don't necessarily want somebody in my space if they don't want to be there.
Yeah.
One.
Yeah.
And if they're moving on in a way that suits them best and honors what they need, then I'm okay with that. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So I try to, you know, I have to make the decisions I think are best for the team and the business, and if people aren't okay with that, then it's okay for them to not be okay with it, you know?
That's so true.
It's really easy for us to be critical of people making, you know, leadership decisions when we don't have to do them ourselves. Right?
It is so true. It's like, if only you knew how hard it was to make this choice.
Yeah. But on the flip side of that, I think that leaders, generally speaking, at least in the past couple of years, do a shit job of, you know, admitting where they went off course or where they could have improved.
Yeah. That ego.
Yeah. So it's like there's a lot of power in admitting, hey, I've screwed this up, I'm gonna try and do it better, than like kind of just digging your heels in the sand and like doubling down. That doesn't really encourage trust. So there have been occasions the past couple of years where I've had to like apologize and be like, that was the best I could do then, but looking back, that's not the decision I would have made.
Yeah.
So I think that's important.
Damn, that's so good, because I feel like that's where a lot of miscommunication comes from, is like when you do have a leader and they can't be vulnerable with themselves and the team of being like, man, I made a mistake, let's grow together. I think that happens in all relationships.
Absolutely.
It's kind of where you start to see relationships collapse, is when you're the lack of vulnerability and the lack of humiliation.
Yeah, it's been a fun journey and lesson to go down.
Damn, I bet. Oh, I don't know if I could. I think I could lead a team, but I think with that right there, I think it would really like eat at me to like take that leadership role of being like, you're doing it wrong, or not doing it wrong, but you need to improve in this area, and someone not taking it how I would want them to.
Mm-hmm.
Being mean, like feeling like you're being mean. Obviously you're not, it's more professional, but.
Well, there's, I don't know, I kind of separate leadership and mentorship. So leadership for me in the salon is more about like, here's the direction we've got to head as a team, as a unit, and here's some of the guidelines. Mentorship ends up being more that individual level where it's not for me to tell them how it should be done, or what they're doing right or wrong. It's more to like kind of be a mirror for them, and maybe help them see different perspectives. But it's not for me to say, oh, you should do it my way or this way. It's to help them find their way of doing those things.
When someone takes the position of saying, you should do it this way, it's my way or the highway, what do you think that creates?
Well, anytime I hear the word or two words together, you should, I'm out. Almost immediately. I've tried to remove that from my vocabulary in general. Like, even with stupid stuff like a book, like, instead of saying, hey, you should read this book, I'm almost immediately, I'm like, I don't want to read that book. I don't care. It's good. But if you can tie it to, hey, I'm reading this book that I really enjoyed, and I read this chapter about this specific thing that I think you might find interest in, then that person's like, oh, okay.
Oh my God, I need to start doing that, because I'm literally telling you, like, you should read this, but that.
The should is like, right? Because we're kind of saying that they need it, or I haven't really dug too deep into why that bothers me too much.
It's a rule.
Yeah, but I like kind of personalizing a suggestion. And in the mentorship area, it's even more important to be like, there's never a like you should to me ever with any mentorship work I'm doing.
Oh, I love that. So I am specialized. It's called mind body bridging, and it's about, have I told you about mind body bridging?
No.
Okay, so there's two functionings that we deal with as human beings. We can be in our natural functioning where we're at our optimal state. We're able to make decisions, we're able to be super empathetic, and essentially we're connected to the net. Like, you realize that my actions impact people across the whole world. And then there's another functioning when we're triggered. It's called I system functioning. And when we're in I system functioning, we only think about I, me. And what triggers us into this type of thinking is shoulds, rules, requirements. I should behave in this way. You should love me. The world should be this way. And so I love that you said that, because it triggers us into a different type of state where we disconnect from the net, our community. And so when you're able to realize, oh, it's not I should, I would prefer. Preference. It's not black and white. I would prefer if you loved me, or I'd prefer if people were nicer. Instead of you should be nicer. Like that should, black and white. So I think that's really cool that you said that, because it is so connected with, I think it just turns people off, that rule, that demand, that requirement.
Yeah, I mean, if you're really trying to get somebody to do something, whether for good or not, I don't think that direct, you should do this. It's like, you know, imagine, like, I always think of like a younger sibling, right? They don't want to listen to their older siblings. Just like a natural, like it's not going to exist. But if you can create a story or a scenario that relates directly to them, then you're encouraging them and you're giving them some relatable information. It comes across a lot different than like me telling you should do something.
I think it brings in that aspect of empathy too. Remind me of the nonviolent communication, a request, not a demand. Yes. So we have known each other, how long?
Not super long.
Yeah.
Like 6 months?
Yeah.
No, a little bit
longer. I think like
maybe
8 months.
A year.
Yeah.
Close to a year.
Almost a year. Yeah. It was crazy because I was looking for a stylist. I just barely moved here, and I came upon his page, and he, no joke, is the best at this type of haircut. And I was like, I really, really hope that he'll want to work together, and if not, like, I'm willing to pay anything. Can you please get me in? And then it just kind of took off from there. I think our souls naturally connect on a different level because we both have the same mission statement in life. And that's just to be one, a good ass person and help people.
Yeah. I really enjoy our time together.
Yeah.
For sure.
And he gave me my favorite coffee shop, so.
Oh, well, you know. If you move to a new city, your best tour guide is finding a good hairdresser. They
That's
know.
True.
They know all the people. Even if I've never been to a restaurant, based upon let's say the 20 reviews I get from a variety of clients, I can be like, this is a place I'm probably gonna go or not, right?
Oh my gosh, that's so true,
Yeah.
because you really do talk and you get harsh opinions sometimes.
Oh,
People
definitely.
just letting off on in the hair chair. It's like the hairdresser confessions.
Yeah, definitely. If you're moving to a different city, your best city guide is gonna be
Your
a
hairstyle.
hairdresser. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. What's the craziest thing you've learned from someone? Has someone just dropped some knowledge on you?
That's a good question.
I feel like I'd be dropping some knowledge on you. He's like, whoa, I wasn't ready for that.
Yeah, that was a long question. I'm like, oh shit. So I don't know. I wouldn't say there's a specific event where I had this moment, but I will say that many of my clients create a significant value in my life as far as the energy they bring and or the knowledge that they bring, or the experience that they bring, which is kind of what's leading me down this path of creating these videos with them.
Yeah.
But one particularly is a woman that she's 83, and her husband passed away during COVID, and I go to her home and do her hair, and it takes me all of 15 minutes to cut her hair. But when I show up, she's got a whole spread, coffee, cheese, crackers, and while it only takes me about 10 minutes to cut her hair, I'm there for about an hour and a half, and we just sit and we talk and we discuss kind of the world. So there's something really special about that relationship as far as speaking to somebody. I don't have really close relationships with my grandparents, so speaking to somebody of that age about their perspective of the world and the things they've seen, and it's I think it's important. I've learned a lot of lessons through her.
That's cool. I think it just also shows that it's so the small moments are so beautiful. Truly, damn, thank you for taking this time to welcome me into your home, knowing that it takes no time, but you are so excited to see me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I feel like we kind of missed that a little bit, being able to have that bond with our elders. I think it just comes back to empathy, vulnerability, and humiliation.
Yeah, there's a lot to be learned.
Yeah.
To our elders, right?
Hi, everyone. Ooh, okay. What is your morning routine? I would love. He does some amazing movement, you guys.
My morning routine is alarm about 6:45 or 7. I go and train. My first thing is I go train in the morning at a studio here called the Movement Standard.
Okay.
And it's a practice called Ido Portal. So I usually dive into that for about an hour and a half.
What does that practice look like?
Ooh. Yeah. It's an Israeli-based practice founded on many principles from a variety of, let's say, bodyweight movement, capoeira, modern dance, gymnastics. It's a fusion of a lot of things. So you might watch a segment of practice and be like, oh, these guys are practicing gymnastics. Or you might look at it and say, oh, these guys are doing, Tai Chi or Xingyang. So there's a bunch of elements tied. It's a very broad practice.
Yeah.
So start there, and then after that, I head over to LDU, and that's usually where I spend about half hour reading and drinking my coffee. And then home to Penny, my little Shar-Pei, for walks and breakfast. And then I try and knock out any writing and admin stuff that happens. So I don't start seeing clients till about 11.
Okay.
So my mornings are really kind of like, I like them to be low stress, easy going, and try to accomplish things. Like my brain isn't necessarily wired in a way that's like, I want to sit down and write and do admin stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm best suited for it first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
So I try to knock that out in the morning.
That makes sense. What does your admin work look like?
Oh man. Well, right now I'm rebuilding a website. So
okay.
I'm writing all the copy for a website.
Okay.
So that's like admin work.
Damn.
I just got a new assistant, Audrey, who's amazing. So she's kind of handling some of my emails and client stuff,
Okay,
my
bless.
waiting list,
Yeah,
that kind of stuff. That's been really helpful.
I'm sure. Okay. I love that. So you get to you do your job all day, I feel like, but your job of work at around like 11.
Yeah, so I see clients 3 days a week.
Okay.
Tuesday, Thursdays, and Fridays, and I work from about, depending on the day, from around 11 to 7 or 8.
That's good. So I love that you prioritize your mental health, your self-care, your relationship with yourself.
Sleep and movement are fundamental to just success of any kind in life, in my opinion. Movement in general creates a relationship with ourselves that you can't get otherwise. Helps you understand your body, your mind. There's so many benefits from a practice that you stick to physically.
Damn, that's so true.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I feel like, what is the first thing that goes in your schedule when you're overbooked or when you're feeling stressed out?
Definitely socialization. That's probably the first.
Yeah.
And then sleep. What I try to do is limit my training when I'm not getting enough sleep. Right? So, if we think about sympathetic and parasympathetic responses, is like if we're constantly driving in to that sympathetic system and we're not getting the rest or the quiet time or the downtime, then that's where shit usually goes off the rails.
So true. That's so true.
So if I find that, like, because we can't entirely avoid stress in life. That would be crazy to think that we can.
Yeah.
And so when things get overly stressful, then I try to keep in mind, tapping into more of my parasympathetic system through an abundant amount of sleep, good food, and some downtime, whether that be meditation or reading or however people want to cut
Partake in that,
yeah.
What book are you reading right now?
Oh man, I'm reading a book called
He lit up. I love it.
It's so good. It's a really easy read too. It's not very big. It's oh my gosh, of course I get it reversed. It's the Lion Tracker's Guide to Life.
Okay.
So it's basically this guy from South Africa who's a lion tracker, and he uses a philosophical connection between tracking and our life, and it's very
cool.
beautiful. It's an easy read, and it has lots of little one-line gems in it. Yeah.
What's the biggest thing you're learning from that?
So one of the one-liners that I most recently read was stop obsessing with who you should be and find something you love so much that you forget who you are.
Oh my gosh.
I was like,
yes.
okay.
It's differently. Holy shit.
I feel that.
That's good. It needs to be on a shirt.
Right?
Oh, that's good. So my routine, I struggle sometimes with my routine. But my routine is I usually wake up around 7 or 8 with the sun. If it is a sunny day, I go right into filming and creating. Because I literally have like maybe 2 hours with the sun. And then if it's not sunny, I go into my morning routine of meditating, journal, and moving my body. I make breakfast, then I take lemon out. And then either I will go to the coffee shop or I will go to the gym to work out. And then if I go to work out, then I go to the coffee shop after that to do work. Then I come home, make myself some food, continue to do a little admin work, and then I jump into my nighttime routine where I meditate, stretch, take a bath, and do all of that.
When you said take lemon out, I forgot that your dog's name was Lemon. I was like, do you just take it out? What do you do with it after that?
Like, so the lemon, okay, that's a
well, yeah, go back to the lemon.
This is a good thing. I'm lucky that my job is my morning routine. I mean my routine. Okay. Are you French?
Am I French? No.
Yeah,
Well,
name's
my last
also
name
French.
is French, yes.
Okay.
But I'm born and raised in South Texas, so.
I love that.
Yeah. I was at a dinner in Santa Fe, and this really great restaurant, and our server, she was French. And
Okay.
She saw the reservation, so she came up in her beautiful, cute French accent. She's like, Mr. Bollinger? And I was like, oh, okay, I like that.
Like, oh, okay. I like that. Okay, so what if someone wanted to get this type of cut, what would they ask for?
So what this is being called right now, you've kind of got two little variations going on. So the cut, this short without the bangs would be a box bob.
Okay.
And the cut, you could also do the box bob with just some bangs. But for you, we do a box bob, some bangs, and a little bit of face framing with a little bit of layering. And they're kind of calling that like the French girl bob.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you and I talked earlier, we're not going to take it quite as intense as the French girl bob and layer it as much because you like your haircut to kind of bend under a little bit. So we're doing a little bit softer on the layer for you.
So what face shapes and texture is best to get this haircut?
Any texture, it's
Okay.
great. So I have a big qualm with the face shape thing. So I think that the face shape concept with haircuts is rather antiquated. So the best way to explain why a haircut would look better or worse than something else isn't necessarily about face shape, it's about balance. Right, so if somebody puts a haircut on an individual let's say they have a really long, face, and then we do something that elongates it even more. It's not necessarily that face shape is wrong, right? Or that we're trying to create this ideal face shape. It's that the balance of the haircut is off.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I avoid talking about face shapes because, if you're looking at the person, you're working appropriately with their face shape, then you should be able to create something balanced regardless of what their face shape looks like. And so I try to avoid that. Also don't, you don't want to make people feel self-conscious, like, oh, you have a square face or you have a round face or whatever. But if a client's like, oh, I feel like my face gets really round when I do this, well, then that indicates to me that that's how they view themselves, is this like rounder face shape. And then I need to adjust what I'm doing without really having to tell them, oh, okay, yeah, you have a really round face and we're gonna have to do this. You know what I mean? It's just about creating balance and then also making people feel good about how they look. So I don't really get too much in the face shape, and I love people with like things that are what typical beauty wouldn't say is pretty. Like maybe they have a big nose or they have really big lips or their eyes or whatever it is. I like to bring attention to those things because it's kind of what makes them who they are. If you do that in a balanced way, it can be really striking.
Ooh, that's good. And that right there is a good hairstylist or hairdresser.
We try,
I do. I really like this haircut because I feel like it does emphasize my lips and my jawline, which that's something I'm very conscious about is my jawline. So I feel like it kind of makes me feel like I have one, which is nice. So that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, in layman's terms, we basically have two major variables in a haircut. We have the perimeter length, the exterior of the haircut, whether it's long or short. And then we have the interior. And really all we're trying to do with those two things is draw attention with the eye. So this length draws attention here, and these bits draw attention to your eyes and cheekbones.
That makes sense.
That's really the most layman way to talk about kind of hair and what you want to bring attention to.
Okay, so it doesn't matter the face shape, it's just more so what do you want to emphasize? And
how do you create balance for that person?
And if you have someone good, they'll do it.
That's really up to the hairdresser. And the hair, you can either be really direct or you can steer clients away from things without, depending on like who they are and maybe how sensitive it might be. It's like you steer them away from things that might not be suitable for them without being direct. Or some of them you're just like, that's not going to work for you, girl. You know that. Just depending on who they are.
Yes. That's just not going to work.
That's just not going to work.
I don't think you should do that. If I were your doctor, I would advise differently. I love that. Because it's so crazy, because when I see myself with long hair, it's definitely, this is my style.
Oh, yeah. I looked back through your Instagram a while back ago and saw you with long hair, and I was like, oh my gosh, such a different, like a totally different human.
It like makes my face like kind of fade away, where this really emphasizes that I do have like unique features. So I really do, like, I think the biggest thing is this, like, I think this comes along with stepping into your power. Everyone told me not to do this haircut, and I just felt it. I was like, man, I just feel like I could look so good. And I was so fixated on like looking at people's face shapes and their texture, and I'm like, I feel like I could do this. And even some hairstylists were like, I don't think you should do this. And it's like really like stepping into your power and just being like, no, I want to do this, and I'm going to make it look beautiful because I'm beautiful.
Well, that speaks to like when clients come into me and they want a big change. Like I never want to have to convince somebody. Right? So if a client comes to me and they're like, this is what I want. Unless I'm just like, oh, that's gonna be horrible.
I can't do that.
Then I'm like, let's go for it. Because if somebody is confident in a haircut, then it's gonna, it's gonna look. I didn't realize you had a cat.
I do have a cat.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know.
Yeah.
But don't do that, dude. This is Milo. Scrub.
Pretty.
People will randomly see him and be like, "Oh, you have a cat?" Like, yeah, I do have a cat. I should introduce him more.
Yeah, I mean, if you feel good in something, then that's gonna translate to looking good, right?
Yeah, it's so true. When I feel like my hair is my most confident feature now. Okay, so how do you tell if bangs are for you? That's a good question.
That's a great question.
That's a good question.
So, bangs are tough in a way that, like, there are some restrictions with the hairline and the head shape to begin with. So some clients, their head slopes pretty extreme in the front and from pretty far back, just based on their head shape. So it means all this hair is going to want to fall forward. So in that case, they can't do just bangs. They have to do like a full-on shag.
Okay.
Otherwise, those bangs are just gonna like sit there, and then his hair is gonna spill over. It's just not gonna be a good scene.
Yeah.
So bangs, there is a like truly physical factor based upon the head shape and the hairline and the growth of hair. So that's problem one to solve, and like obviously that's a case by case situation.
Yeah.
But then the other is, we can use you as an example. So you do really great with, see how I have her corners longer here, and it kind of spills into this little curtain bang. You wear that really great, but you could also, if I open this up, right, you could do a little bit more of a square bang, right? And then in some cases, this is called a V-bang, a vamp bang, where it's actually shorter in the corner here.
Ooh.
And they're both are great looks
Yeah.
for you. You can kind of handle any of them, but it's important, I think, with a client when I sit them in the chair, is like, I'll almost always cut their bangs initially with these corners, but then be like, oh, you know what? Their jawline or their cheekbones aren't strong enough.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna open up their eyes here.
That makes sense.
So the variables of bangs are going to be head shape and hairline, and then what you're trying to present.
Yeah. Would you say the shape, the size of your forehead?
Yeah, so if like your hairline comes all the way to here and there's only an inch between your hairline and your eyebrows, then those are going to be some seriously short pieces in there, right?
Yes.
But the shag shapes, what are really interesting about those right now, that I don't think a lot of people articulate well to their clients, is the bang is essentially the shortest layers and everything's connected to it. So it's actually what makes bangs grow out really well in shag shapes.
Okay, that makes sense.
Versus like, imagine if you had long hair and then just bangs. And there's this huge gap between the two. And then like when you're done with these, you gotta like grow them out, and there's like awkward stage. Well, with a shag, you don't really get that because the bangs are inherently connected to the rest of the shape.
Oh my god.
So then it grows out really effortlessly. So we're starting to see people who are kind of taking on more of that bang shape because it grows out so much easier than like bangs and long hair.
Yes, that makes sense. Because I even felt like, because we kind of did like a shaggish vibe last time.
Yeah, last time, right.
And it grew out really, really nice. Like I couldn't even tell. It was like all in one.
Yeah.
That makes sense. How do you go back from permanent black dye?
Oh, girl.
Sounds like a rub.
Okay, so if you put black dye on your hair, permanent, and I'm just gonna assume that it's store-bought, and even if it's not, it's gonna be a corrective color. Like any legitimate colorist is gonna be like, this is a corrective color, and you're gonna be paying an hourly rate to get that done. If that's not the case, then you're likely not in good hands, or in hands that are experienced with that type of correction. And what's going to happen is
you mostly will be paying an hourly rate.
Yes.
Because it takes time.
Because it takes time. You're probably going to be somewhere in that, I don't know, somewhere in the $200 to $500 rate per hour, depending on who they are. And you're probably looking at, 6-7 hours, because what they're going to do is, it just depends. So some hair, you'll be able to use some color removers that we have to be able to get some of it out and then get you to kind of a brunette. If you're wanting to go much lighter than, let's say, like our color, or in that range, maybe a shade lighter, it's a whole different world. So really what you're looking at is, like, you're going to pull it out, they might have to bleach some of it out, and then they're going to tone it back down, and that'll fade off and lift warm, because anytime we lighten hair, it lightens warm. So as that color fades off, it's going to be warm, and then you're going to end up having to retouch. So you are looking at not only just that specific event, but you're looking at maintenance probably for a good year before you kind of get the hair fully back.
So this is why you don't use box dye.
Well, here's the thing.
Let's hear your spiel.
During COVID, we saw a lot of people cutting their own hair and coloring their own hair. And for me, what was kind of cool about this was, like, I think subconsciously, it's like people just needed to, like, feel like they were in control of something. Right? And so I definitely am like, good for you. If you just, if you had a job that didn't allow you to have pink hair and you're like, fuck it, I'm gonna have pink hair. Then I'm like, have at it. But that being said, there are consequences to putting some of these colors on your hair.
Okay, that makes sense. So if changing it through a hairstylist isn't in your budget, what is the next route? Just grow out?
I would use, some haircuts that would, depending on how long the hair is, that would help work that out, because if you get into lightening it yourself at home on top of that black, you're really setting yourself up for a potential big disaster with just the health of your hair. Because lifting the hair at home can be, you could end up really screwing up your hair.
And then you don't have a choice but to cut it because it breaks off. That makes sense. Okay, thoughts on shampoo with DHT blockers?
Oh yeah, I wonder if that's a guy asking that. Is it a guy? Can you tell?
Nope.
So DHT blockers are basically, well, let's rewind a little bit for the people who are listening.
I have no idea what that even means.
So DHT is produced from testosterone, and it's what causes hair loss. In both men and women, but more specifically in male pattern baldness. That is a byproduct of DHT production. So there are shampoos and conditioners on the market that have blockers in them. I think that would be my least favorite. I don't think you're not going to do any harm with a DHT blocker shampoo, but I don't use shampoos because I think shampoos in general are really rough on the hair. So obviously I use New Wash, which you use, which is, promotes a really healthy scalp. For DHT blocking, your best bets are two things that I personally use because I suffer from thinning hair. In both.
You have great hair.
Well, thank you, but I do a good job of hiding it in my crown and and in my front hairline, I am thinning as well. So I use two products. One is called Nutrafol. You can find that in my bio. Nutrafol has a natural blend of really great ingredients that help reduce cortisol levels and stress hormones. And those stress hormones will contribute to an excess of DHT as well. And so all the ingredients in that product specifically help regulate stress hormones. And then the other is something topical that you would want to use. I work with a company called Happy Head. They use a blend of two known ingredients, which would be Propecia and Rogaine. And instead of having to orally take those, which you can have some side effects from, it's a topical solution. So those are going to be probably your best bet. I've done a lot of research in this arena because I'm a male hairdresser and I want to keep my hair. So there's a couple of companies out there that do the online pharmaceuticals. Happy Head, I think, in my opinion, has the best blend because they blend some folic acid in it as well. And it's a like teledoc conversation, and it's like $60 a month. So I don't think you're getting your money's worth with it. All that being said, I don't think you're getting your money's worth with the DHT blocking shampoo.
Yeah, you guys should really look into Hair Story New Wash though. It is amazing, and it literally cuts my hair wash in half. I don't have to wash my hair as much, and my hair is so much healthier. And I use all of his products, which we can go through. They are
and the new one that I used on you today,
is this oil.
Yeah,
see and those hearts.
And it comes. It's like packaging, like beauty skincare packaging. This packaging is beautiful with these nice. This nice dropper.
Syringe.
Yeah.
It is very like good texture too.
It's suitable for all hair types. As you can see, and this is like my second pump I put in her hair.
And it doesn't even look greasy.
It's not greasy, not weighing it down. It's a really, really incredible
it just
oil.
Looks really healthy. Like my hair looks way healthy. Ooh. Okay, and then so you should definitely go check out New Wash and Hair Story products because I talk about them all the time. Okay.
There's a link in my bio for 20% off.
Yes.
In
and
my
then,
bio,
so go to his bio if you want to look now, and then after this, I will post a link too. So what shampoo did you say you use? We both do not use shampoo. We use New Wash. And it's perfect because it comes in the cutest little packaging that's sustainable. It is literally one wash. There's no conditioner, no shampoo, just one wash. It is New Wash.
Yes, so just to touch real quickly on that, any shampoo that lathers is going to have detergent in it. Now it may be that it has all the nice little marketing, sulfate-free, all these things, but if it bubbles, then it has a detergent in it. Detergents are not something that live in nature. We have to create them. And even a really nice shampoo that is organic and uses great ingredients is still a detergent. And I wouldn't say that it's going to be harmful or toxic for you, although some detergents can be toxic to you. The problem with the detergent is that it's like a bulldozer on your scalp and your hair. So it just plows everything off, which is why you need a conditioner to make the hair feel better after you've used the shampoo. With something like New Wash, we use essential oils and aloe vera, so it cleans the hair gently, leaving what's supposed to be there, so no conditioner needed. And instead of this strip, condition, your scalp gets to kind of be itself. And most people will suffer scalp issues, oily scalp, dry scalp, etc. over a period of time. It normalizes and their hair feels even better.
It is fantastic, like literally. It definitely takes a little bit used to because you're so used to your hair bubbling up.
Yes.
So with New Wash, it's almost like a texture of just conditioner, which I kind of like too, because then you can kind of have more of a mindful moment versus just being so rushed through your process. Who is passionate about their field? Oh, it's so true. Okay. What do you like most to do? What haircut? Okay, what is a haircut you love to do on your clients?
Well, my favorite haircuts are big transformations.
Yeah.
And specifically, I just love a pixie on a girl. And I say that because short hair obviously can be both male and female. I refer to pixie when I'm speaking in the feminine, but there's such a subtle nuance to making something soft and feminine and delicate, but still powerful and beautiful in a pixie, and that's one of my favorite things to do. Yeah.
I could see myself having a pixie.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, which hairstyle suits a chubby face?
Which hairstyle suits
a
chubby
chubby
face? Okay.
So a round face. We'll say a round.
Right. Okay. So that kind of gets back to what we were talking about earlier. I don't want to make generalizations because there's a comfort level with the client that's is necessary. So when I am approaching a client who maybe have a heavier face or a round face, and they're like really confident in who they are, and if you wear your hair in a ponytail all the time and she's loving it, then you have a lot of freedom there actually, right? So there's this balance of me injecting what I think could happen and should happen and giving some options with that individual's comfort level. So let's say they have a fuller face but they have a longer neck, and now we can bring a bob that hits mid-length and swings, right? But maybe they feel real round, so if I put something right at their chin, right, then they're gonna feel more round. But if I put a line here, it breaks that face up and can elongate it. So you can, we could do some.
So if they're like, let's just do it, balls deep, I want change.
Well, so remember we have two variables. We could be talking about length or internal shape.
Okay.
So I could do a nice little curtain bang on them, break that face up, leave a little extra length here, and that elongates and opens. Right. So now we've taken somebody who typically a haircut that makes somebody feel more round is like it totally encloses them, right? So we extend the length here, we open it up here, and now they feel a little more open and more elongated.
And that's why shags are so vibrant right now.
Shags, the shags can get a little redundant for me behind a chair, but they are wildly flattering for a lot of people. And if you want to move to wash and wear type of work, then those shapes, they grow out so well, and you can get up, hop in the shower, shake it out, put a little product in it, and walk out the door. Yeah.
I do love that.
It's a very empowering haircut.
Yeah. No, if short hairs. Okay, this kind of highlights back on what we were just saying, but how do you know if short hair suits you? I had long hair my whole life and would love a big change, but scared it's not for me. I feel that.
Yeah. So that, if somebody said that to me in my chair, I'd ask, well, what are you scared of? Right? Because, there may be some fears of that I can help with. Are you worried about the upkeep? Are you worried about, there's a lot of things that you could be scared of. But again, a client that comes to me who's ready for a change and I want to change, then we're gonna go for it. We're gonna go for it.
Do it.
I always kind of just a lot of my clients who have longer hair who are scared or in that maybe moment that individual is in right now is that they have a little bit of an identity attachment with their hair, right? So it becomes like this safety blanket
Which
for
I feel
them.
like women definitely could have that attachment.
Absolutely. And I have that attachment.
I was gonna say,
Yeah,
I was literally about to say, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
hair just in general.
Yeah, like, you know, being a guy who's about to turn 40 and thinning in my crown and recession, like, that definitely, you know, taps into like, oh, you know, I don't want to lose it. So I can relate in a different way, but still relate.
Yeah. That's true.
So I think it's important to maybe ask yourself what it is about going short. Is it the fear that like you'll really miss your long hair? Because I think if you're with, again, if you were sitting in my chair, I'd be like, yeah, you can wear short hair if you could wear short hair. If not, I'm gonna be like, hey, this is real talk. This is what's gonna be more flattering. But the key is you can still get a big change, right?
Yeah.
You know, if somebody's ready for change, you can create a big change for them that works for them as an individual. So if a client comes in and shows me like a little box bob and they're like, I want this, but I know it's not gonna work, and I'm like, okay, well clearly she's ready for change. Let me give her the options that are gonna really work for her and educate her as to why it's gonna be more flattering, more suitable. And I use the word suitable when it comes to lifestyle, right? So like, I don't wanna put them in something that, you know, doesn't match their lifestyle.
Yeah. Yes. So you should cut your hair.
Yeah, you should definitely
You should do it. It will grow back.
It grows back. 100% cut your hair.
And it will grow back even healthier. That's the biggest thing. Okay, we'll do one more. What do you like most to do?
We tapped on that question earlier.
Yeah, so
Pixies.
Pixies.
Big transformations, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go big or go home.
Yeah, I love to take somebody, you know, that individual who's like, oh, I'm thinking about going short. I mean, that's my dream. Is like, okay,
let's
come in here and let's chop it.
Yes. Well, sweet. Thank you, guys. So the biggest thing is you should definitely follow him on his personal. His @name is above. He has amazing conversations if you are someone that just wants to be inspired. And then if you are also in the hairdresser realm, he does a ton of courses. And then if you want to revamp your style, you should really look into Hair Story products, and he has 20% off a link in his bio, and I after this will post a story with swipe ups on different products.
Yep. If you need a hairdresser and you're not from Dallas, you can DM me. I have hairdresser friends all over the country.
Ooh,
so
that's
if you're
good.
looking for a big change and you're like, I need to know who the person is in my hometown, I likely know somebody there.
Oh, I love that, because and if you move somewhere, you need a hairstylist.
That's true.
So you know where to go. Okay, love you guys. Bye.